Lumberjack here, and today on Barely Homesteading we want to talk about paint. So inevitably when you move into a home that is not new, there's going to be repairs and updates that need to be done. One of the main things that we wanted to do in our new homestead is replace a lot of the flooring. It's got old carpet and we wanted solid surface and get rid of all that old carpet. But before we do that, we wanted to go and update all of the paint so that we weren't painting over brand new floors. So this week we wanted to talk about our painting adventure in our new home, give you some tips and tricks that we've picked up over the years in redoing painting in various homes, and talk to you a little bit about why we chose the paint that we did. So we chose to do the majority of the painting with a standard flat white ceiling and a gray wall. We chose gray because it was going to be compatible with pretty much any other color that we chose to do for accent walls. And it would also go with any of the flooring that we chose. Now in the past we've done some beige walls, we've done some off brown walls. This time we went with the gray because of that compatibility with pretty much anything that we wanted to do. And with the kids wanting different colored accent walls, trying to come up with a non-monochrome color that would work with all of those different accent colors just wasn't going to be practical. In addition, the gray that we picked, because it is not too light and not too dark, it does not show a lot of the dirt and the scuffs as easily as a lighter gray or a darker color would. For the finish on our paint, we chose a satin finish. We chose the satin because it will be easy to clean. We still have young kids and walls are going to get dirty. And it's not the gloss, which for walls just doesn't quite look right. And it's not the flat, which is going to be incredibly hard to clean. And so the satin is a good compromise between those two. We've had problems in the past where we've used a semi-gloss and an eggshell because the eggshell was just a little too rough. It trapped the dirt and the scuffs too easily. And the semi-gloss was just a little too smooth and it absorbed the moisture when we went to clean it a little too easily. And so the satin, as I said, was a compromise between those two extremes. So one of the things that we need to do to get the house ready to move in is do some repainting. A very typical task when moving into a new home. And so we're going to start with the ceiling and then we'll tape that off, do the walls, and a lot of the bedrooms are going to get an accent wall, and so we'll do that as well. All right, so we've got the ceiling all painted. So now what we're going to do is we're going to tape off that ceiling so that we can paint the walls. All right, so now that we've got the ceiling and all of the doors and window trims taped off, we're going to paint the walls. Now this taping off might take a little more time up front, but it definitely saves you a lot of time when you're doing the painting. I know a lot of people like to use a long trim shield, and that works fine. We're actually going to use that on the floor molding because it's got a fairly narrow lip. and the tape just isn't going to stick to it for as well. But on the ceiling, I find, and on the molding around the doors and windows, I find that the tape gives you a much cleaner edge when you take the time to put it up nice and straight in the corner, and it just saves you a lot of time in the long run. All right, so once we get the ceiling taped, what we do is we start with a brush, and we're gonna get right in that corner where the tape is on the wall, so that we can get a nice clean line between the ceiling and the wall. Then we're gonna follow up with a small 4-inch roller. We're gonna come down probably about 6 to 8 inches so that we can then come underneath that with the large roller and not get too close to the tape and possibly get paint on the ceiling. So now that we've got the main walls painted, we're ready to do the accent wall. So most of the kids have asked for an accent wall in their room, the color different than the main wall color. And so we're going to do that now. We're going to tape off the corners of the main wall so that we can get a nice edge down that corner with the accent wall. So while I was taping off these corners of the accent wall, I noticed that here we've got this corner joint of the drywall that is kind of pulled away. So let me zoom in on this. So we're gonna fix that first before we paint so that we don't have to paint it again. To fix this, because there's paint on it and it's fairly stiff, what we're going to do is we're going to cut this off, the part that's peeled off, and then just come in with some joint compound repair and fill this in, smooth it out, let it dry, and then we can paint. So what seems to work the best is, because this is right in the corner, is to just use your finger with this spackle or joint compound. Just kind of shove it down into that crack and then smooth it out with your finger. There's not a lot of room to work right there between the corner and the trim of the window. And so just getting in there with your finger, and like I said, you want to kind of force it back into that gap so that it fills in. All right, I think that'll work. So we'll let that dry and then we'll paint. So now that we have painted that bedroom, and we'd like to show you what we've done with the rest of the house. So here's a little tour of the other rooms that we have painted. So thank you for joining us today on Barely Homesteading. This is Lumberjack, and remember to use it up, wear it out, make it do or do without. Please like and subscribe, and we will see you next time.